I like to movie. I like to movie. I like to movie. What's going on, guys? Welcome to Victims and Villains. If you guys are new to Victims and Villains, we are a nonprofit and publication that creates content to educate and engage individuals on mental health awareness and suicide prevention through pop culture. My name is Capt Nostalgia. I have the privilege of being one of the writers and podcasters here. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the movie. The actual title of the movie is called The Movie. It's rather confusing, I know, but you guys can hear director Michael Mandel actually talk about the title in our podcaster's cut of our interview with him and star Jared Padalecki. That link will be in the descriptions below. The movie tells the story of a aging / washed up Hollywood actress named Janet Gillespie who gets an unexpected visitor late at night. That visitor actually ends up becoming a just awkwardly demented super fan that just takes her on an absolute thrill ride. What's going on, guys? Welcome to Victims and Villains. If you guys are new to Victims and Villains, we are a nonprofit and publication that creates content to educate and engage individuals on mental health awareness and suicide prevention through pop culture. My name is Capt Nostalgia. I have the privilege of being one of the writers and podcasters here. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the movie. The actual title of the movie is called The Movie. It's rather confusing, I know, but you guys can hear director Michael Mandel actually talk about the title in our podcaster's cut of our interview with him and star Jared Padalecki. That link will be in the descriptions below. So the movie depicts the story of a washed up Hollywood actress named Janet Gillespie, whose home gets invaded by a aspiring filmmaker, basically forcing her to do his movie if she wants to live. I'm going to say that this movie literally wastes no time. Literally from the very first frame, this film throws you into this home invasion scenario, incredibly making you feel just uncomfortable right out of the gate, and performances are just magnificent to match. And you think for a film that starts off with a bang right from this and never lets go, you think that the character development would just kind of get lost in the shuffle of the humor and the comedy and the intensity of the home invasion. But that's far from the truth for the movie. In fact, as the film is so quickly paced, character development actually progresses along right with that intensity, while also allowing these smaller, quieter character moments that just kind of seem to exist in the said development. Perhaps one of the smartest things that this film does as far as narrative decisions is it really challenges the conventions of what we've come to expect from home invasion horror. And with that said, I'm going to even dare say that this film does get really down, dirty, uncomfortable, and does horror really well. But it balances that horror really well with unexpected comedic turns. And at the center of those turns is Padalecki. Not that there's any wasted performance in this film, but Padalecki just has not only really great comedic timing when the movie needs him to be funny, but at a turn, he can just be really dark and just very menacing as well. Perhaps there's no greater example of this than the very last act of this movie. I was literally squirming in my seat for some of these scenes. I just want to put it that this film's final act is not for the faint of heart. There are even certain portions of this movie that I would tell people to fast forward through, simply because you can understand context-wise what happens once some of the more uncomfortable scenes actually are over. Bonnie Root in this film, also a tour de force of just talent. The way that she is able to balance some of the more unnerving aspects of this film with the comedy is just a thing of genius. Like, for example, there could be literally something just absolutely awful happen to her character, and the moment that the movie within the movie says is calling action, boom, there's a total tonal shift and just complete just body language shift in her stance in the film. With this being a home invasion film, I do feel like there are a couple moments where I found myself guessing what was going to happen next. Spoiler alert, I was right. But these moments are far and few between because this film does comedy really well, it does horror really well, and it is literally one of the most uncomfortable endings I've seen in recent memory. Spark that with some of the film's themes of the Me Too movement, how Hollywood treats some of its stars and residents, and the entitlement that fans feel from these stars. This film does all of those things really well, commenting on it by also at the same time making you laugh, making you bring you to the edge of your seat, and truly terrifying you all within the same process. As we talked about in our interview with Pastilli and Mandel, this film's mental health moment is actually going to come from the use of rejection that this film does incredibly well. Story hands up if you've ever been rejected by anyone or any business. This film does rejection from two different standpoints. I'm not going to get into it because there are spoilers involved. However, it's how the characters respond to the rejection that I feel like is worth addressing. It's really important to note how you're going to respond to rejection, because rejection is going to ultimately have its toll on your own mental health, but it's how you respond to it, whether negatively or positively, that you're going to actually see and experience change. Positives on how to respond to it are talking with people and being vulnerable enough to share how you're feeling and to really engage with people and kind of understand like how we can grow from this experiences. Negatively speaking, we keep it in, we seek vengeance, or we turn to things like suicide, self-harm, or addiction. So I just want to encourage anyone watching this right now that if you're going through rejection or you've recently been rejected by anyone, please click the links in our descriptions below to check out our mental health resource library. But as for the movie, I'm going to go ahead and give this one a 4 out of 5. It's just a very well done, very simple film that constantly just has you for twists and turns. Performances are great. The writing is great. It does a really good job of balancing comedy and just so many horror and just so many other things. This film, make sure that you guys check this movie out. Like I said, I would probably fast forward through certain moments in the final act just because of how uncomfortable it truly is, but there's enough context that you can actually understand what happened and so on and so forth. But if you guys have seen the movie, make sure that you guys comment below and let me know what you guys thought about it, because I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on it. And make sure that you guys hit that subscribe button, like and or follow wherever you guys are currently watching this, so that way you guys never miss a moment of our GenreBlast coverage or any hope-filled moments after we're done GenreBlast. Thank you guys for watching.